Yo, 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 what is up, YouTube? BK Brad Kellner. Today is Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. We're talking Texas football today, and the plaque is back. Yes, in the words of my former dentist, the plaque is back. Well, it makes it sound like I killed him when I said that. No, I just switched because I was tired of hearing about that. Anyways, had some requests from y'all to ditch the green screen and go back to the VY plaque. We're going to alternate. We're going to go back and forth. The green screen's not gone forever, but once again, a couple of people reached out and wanted to see the perfect season Sports Illustrated cover VY plaque. So I'm a man of the people. I want to give the people what they want. Shout out to Travis. I think in yesterday's video, Travis hit the comment section asking to bring back the plaque. I think a couple of other folks have done so as well. So the green screen's not gone for good. But, yeah, just wanted to switch things up a little bit today. Before we dive into today's video, I do want to give some love to all of y'all, everybody who's reached out and sent their thoughts and prayers and condolences to me and my family. Lost my grandfather last week, my final grandparent. Sucks, man. But appreciate everyone who's reached out and sent their love. Means a lot, really does. Means a lot to me and my family. So thank y'all for the support there. And apologies for not dropping any videos. I think I dropped one video last Monday, but after that, I was down with the fam in Houston and a lot of mourning, a lot of grieving. So didn't have any time to release any new content. So apologies for the short hiatus, but we did drop a video yesterday. And of course, we've got this video today, and we're hopefully going to get back to the normal schedule in terms of releasing content on this channel. So hopefully a video every weekday and maybe a live chat at least once a week. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. Tap that notification bell so you're always in the loop with what is going on. And of course, please like this video as well. And have to give some love to our sponsor, Last Stand Hats. Use code BK10 at checkout. You see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen, and you'll get 10% off your purchase from laststandhats.com, the best damn UT hats in all of the land. All right, guys, we're talking Texas football today. The summer enrollees for the class of 2021 have officially arrived on campus. Most of them got here over the Memorial Day weekend, and today is Wednesday, June 2nd. The summer conditioning program for Texas football actually started earlier today. So the class of 2021 is officially here, and we're talking about which of those summer enrollees will make the biggest impact on the Longhorns this coming season. Of course, the hope is for all of these guys to make some sort of impact on this program during their 4 years here in Austin, but which guys can come in and make an impact right away? Tough for any freshman to do, even tougher for the non-early enrollees to do, right? The guys who have already been here since January have the advantage of going through spring ball. They already know the coaches. They already have their playbooks. They know the scheme. They've got a little bit of a leg up over the summer enrollees. But the summer enrollees, look, it still happens every year at every relevant program where one of these guys, at least one of these guys, can come in and make an impact. So there are some prime candidates for the Longhorns in the class of 2021. And once again, we're keeping this list to the guys who just got here. So none of the early enrollees qualify for this list. I do think there are some early enrollees who will make an impact on this team in 2021. But we're just talking about the 12 high school players who just got to campus, and also the transfer additions who just got to campus this week. So these guys, I'll mention this list in no particular order except for number one, because, look, I know this guy is an incoming freshman. I know he hasn't played a single snap of college football in his life, and, of course, he's not an early enrollee, but I expect this guy to make a huge, huge impact on this team this year. That's Davion Sanders, the 1 5-star that the Longhorns were able to reel in the class of 2021. A lot of questions of, which side of the ball Sanders would play on. Played both ways in high school up in the DFW Metroplex. The dude's an absolute stud at both ends. But during the spring game, Steve Sarkisian kind of hinted towards Davion Sanders starting out on offense when he got to Texas. So I fully expect that to be the plan. I think Davion Sanders will start as a tight end for the Longhorns, and I think he's going to be an impact player right away, guys. I really do. He is that type of talent. He's got that type of frame. He's just that type of dude. And I don't think the tight end room is all that great. I feel worse about the tight end position than I think any Texas fan in the entire world, right? There are bodies there. And for all of Tom Herman's faults, he did recruit the tight end position heavily during his tenure here in Austin. I just don't think there's a difference maker in that tight end room right now. We've seen some things from Jared Wiley, but he's not a complete tight end, a little bit inconsistent, and he's not a great blocker. I don't even know if he's a good blocker. Cade Brewer coming back, using that COVID eligibility to get a fifth season. He hasn't separated himself. He's gotten plenty of chances. I know he's dealt with some injuries during his Texas career, but I just don't think we can expect that guy to all of a sudden be an impact player for this team in 2021. Saw some things from Juan Davis in the spring game. Saw some things from Gunnar Helm in the spring game. You've got Braden Liebrock, who was hurt for Texas during the spring. I mean, you've got bodies there, and those guys are all 3- and 4-star recruits. But I just don't think you have a difference maker in that tight end room right now. I think Davion Sanders has the chance to be that difference maker from day one. And when's the last time Texas has had a game changer at tight end? Jermichael Finley, more than a decade ago. David Thomas, a little bit before Jermichael Finley. Those guys were awesome, and the Texas offenses were so much more awesome with the impact player at tight end. The best year that the Longhorns had in the last decade was 2018, of course, the year they won 10 games and won the Sugar Bowl. Texas had Andrew Beck there at tight end. Not necessarily an impact player as a pass catcher, but an impact player as a blocker for sure. He's the best tight end Texas has had in the last decade, and the Longhorns had their most successful season with Andrew Beck as this team's tight end / H-back. So Davion Sanders, a completely different skill set from Andrew Beck, and of course Steve Sarkisian, a completely different head coach and offensive scheme than Tom Herman. But, I think Davion Sanders can be that impact player at tight end that Texas has so desperately lacked for the last decade. I think he can block, but more importantly, I think he can catch. I think he can be that red zone threat that this offense needs. So Davion Sanders, number one for me, even though he hasn't played a down of college football, I think that guy is going to be an impact player. I keep using that phrase. I think he's going to hear his name called a lot, and I think Texas fans are going to grow to like that young man a lot very, very early on. So JT Sanders, number one. Number two, now we'll kind of go, I don't want to say out of order, but we'll start with the high school summer enrollees, and then we'll get to the transfer guys who make the list for me. Xavier Worthy's number two. Not technically a transfer because he didn't play or enroll at Michigan, but of course the one-time Michigan commit who withdrew from his national letter of intent a couple of months ago and then committed to Texas during the orange-white scrimmage. High 4-star receiver, track speed, drawing comparisons to Devontae Smith because of his frame and because of his speed and because of his recruiting grade coming out of high school. That would obviously be incredible if Xavier Worthy's anything close to Devontae Smith, of course, who just won the Heisman Trophy this past season. But Xavier Worthy's a stud. I don't want Texas to rely on Xavier Worthy. I think that'd be a problem, and I think that means you have injuries in the wide receiver room. But because you have questions in that wide receiver room, because you don't have a lot of proven depth outside of the top 4 in that wide receiver room, I think there's a chance for Xavier Worthy to get some early playing time and make an impact as a true freshman in 2021. Once again, feel great about the starting 4, Jordan Whittington, Jake Smith, Troy O'Meary, Joshua Moore. I think all of those guys can make things happen. And I think if those guys stay healthy, they're all going to have their best seasons in college football working with Steve Sarkisian. But all 4 of those guys have injury histories. You guys don't need me to tell you all that. All 4 of those guys have missed time during their Texas careers. Some of those guys are coming off of spring injuries. Some of those guys are coming off of season-ending fall injuries. So you're not 100% sure that those guys are going to be there for you week in and week out. Matter of fact, I'd be shocked if 3 of those guys play 12 games this fall, let alone all 4 of those guys. So not a lot of proven commodities beyond your top 4. That gives a guy like Xavier Worthy an opportunity to crack the wide receiver rotation pretty early at Texas. Another high school summer enrollee that I think has the chance to make an impact early on, Ishmael Ibrahim, the cornerback from the Dallas area. A guy who was supposed to be an early enrollee, had a little bit of a run-in with the law. His recruitment was in limbo for a little bit, but good to go. He's been cleared. He is a part of the Texas class of 2021. A high 4-star talent, and he comes in at a position that also does not have a ton of depth. Now, look, I don't think Ishmael Ibrahim is going to crack the starting lineup this year, Josh Thompson, Deshaun Jameson, Darian Dunn. It feels like a combination of those three guys are going to be your two starting outside corners, and then one of Chris Adamora or Anthony Cook will be your slot guy this year in Pete Kwiatkowski's defense. But beyond those guys, not a ton of proven commodities at the cornerback position. So I think there is a chance for Ishmael Ibrahim to maybe crack the rotation, get some playing time at some point this season. Maybe he's a guy who gets some run in the Rice game in week 3 and shows us some things and just becomes a trustworthy piece for this Texas secondary. You can never have enough corners in the Big 12. Hell, forget the Big 12. You can never have enough corners in today's college football. And a guy like Ishmael Ibrahim, a supreme talent, highly touted recruit, I think he's a dude that might find the field this fall, despite being a true freshman. So those are my high school summer enrollees that I think will make a big impact for Texas in 2021. I'd probably put them in that order too. I lied to y'all. I said these were in no particular order. I didn't intend for this list to come in any particular order, but I think Davion Sanders is number 1, Xavier Worthy number 2, and probably a distant third, Ishmael Ibrahim, as those 3 high school guys who I think will make an impact this fall. What about the transfers? Steve Sarkisian and this new staff have done a great job attacking the transfer market. Texas still in the mix for a couple of portal players as well. Caleb Evans, the cornerback from Tulsa, visited Texas yesterday. Hell, if he comes to UT, then maybe Ishmael Ibrahim not as likely to be an impact player this year because that would just slide him down the depth chart a little bit more because Caleb Evans has college experience, pretty decent college experience as well. I think he's a top 50 transfer portal player, according to the folks over at 24/7 Sports. But already some transfers on campus for Texas and some guys who just got here this week. A guy that I'm excited about, one of the summer enrollee transfers that I don't think enough people are talking about, is Devin Richardson, the linebacker from the state of Texas, but the guy who played his first couple of years of college ball at New Mexico State. He's got more reps than any of the linebacker transfers coming into Texas. Now, I know he played at New Mexico State, and you've got Ray Thornton coming in from LSU and Ben Davis coming in from Bama and Ovia Gofu coming in from Notre Dame, all higher profile schools. But, man, Devin Richardson was a freshman All-American in 2019, and he started the first couple of games of the season for New Mexico State. They had a COVID issue. I can't remember if they didn't play much due to COVID or if he got hurt or maybe a combination of the two. But Devin Richardson does have some college snaps under his belt. And, yeah, I think he's got a chance to crack the linebacker rotation. Not a lot of proven commodities at the linebacker position, hence why Texas has attacked the transfer market so hard to address that spot. Feel great about DeMarvion Overshown if he can stay healthy, but with Jawan Mitchell leaving, there's opportunities for those transfers to come in and get some early PT. And Devin Richardson, I think, suits better as an off-ball linebacker. I don't think he's much of an edge guy like an Ovia Gofu or Ray Thornton is expected to be. I think he's more of your traditional linebacker, and he's done that before. Not great in space. I don't think he's a 3-down linebacker because he's not great in coverage, and his lateral quickness probably isn't good enough to be successful in the Big 12. But a first and second down, downhill type of linebacker, I think Devin Richardson can be that guy. And I think he's got the chance to get some early playing time and a lot of playing time this year at linebacker for Texas. So don't sleep on Devin Richardson. I'm going to stall here because now I'm curious. I talked myself into a corner. I'm trying to figure out why Devin Richardson only played a couple of games last year at New Mexico State. I think it was a COVID thing. I think the WAC only played like a couple of games. All right, looking at New Mexico State's schedule. Yeah, every game was canceled for them. And then they played 2 games in the spring. There it is. 1 in February, 1 in March. All right, that's why Devin Richardson didn't put up great numbers in 2020 because they didn't play in 2020. And the last guy I want to mention, guys, summer enrollees who I think will make an impact for Texas this fall, Ben Davis, the aforementioned linebacker transfer from Alabama. I think he's a more versatile piece than Devin Richardson. I think he's a guy who can play on the edge, and I think he's a guy who can play inside at linebacker too. Former 5-star, things didn't work out for Ben Davis at Alabama. And he's been there for, I think, 5 years and barely got any playing time. And it's easy to get lost in the sauce at Bama because Nick Saban doesn't stop recruiting 5-stars, right? And if you get hurt or if you're not good enough, someone's going to jump you on the depth chart and you're not going to play a whole hell of a lot. That's what happened to Ben Davis at Alabama. But, man, he was a top 10 recruit in the country for the class of 2016. So you'd like to think there's some ability somewhere within Ben Davis. It's clear, look, if he was a top 10 player in his class, then he would have found a way to play more at Alabama. So it's clear he's not that good. He's not as good as the pundits thought he would be out of high school, but I still think there's a chance that Ben Davis can make a difference for this defense in 2021. Once again, not a lot of proven commodities at linebacker and your edge rusher position. You've got Jacoby Jones, you've got Ray Thornton. Those guys did some good things in the spring. We heard Sark and some of the other coaches talk about those guys a lot in the spring, but we're not talking about Joseph Osai here. Like, neither of those guys, in my opinion, have done enough to separate themselves from the pack or really solidify a starting job in every single rep at one of those two edge positions. So I think there could be a chance for Ben Davis to maybe not start, but crack that rotation at Texas. He's a versatile piece. And I think we'll finally see if Ben Davis can stay healthy. I think Pete Kwiatkowski is going to get the most out of him, and we'll finally see that guy live up to some of his billing. He won't be that 5-star player. He won't be that top 10 player like he was billed coming out of high school. But once again, there's some talent there. There's something to work with Ben Davis. And Pete Kwiatkowski is known for being a guy who's able to maximize his players' talent and get the most out of his players. I think I basically said the same thing twice there. But I think that'll happen with Ben Davis. So those are my 5 guys. Burgers and fries, 5 summer enrollees that I think will make an impact for Texas in 2021. I gave y'all 3 high school kids, and I gave y'all a couple of transfers as well. Who'd I miss? Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Who did I leave out? I want to hear from y'all. Appreciate the continued love and support of this channel. Be sure to check out the Triple Option with RBKD weekdays from 3 to 7 on the Horn and online at hornfm.com. Like this video if you haven't done so yet. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so yet. Is that grammatically correct? I don't care. I got to go. I'm talking myself in circles. Thanks again to laststandhats.com. Use code BK10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase of any Last Stand hats. And also comment below with any future video ideas as well. I do a basketball video a little bit later in this week and maybe a baseball postseason preview too on this channel as Texas baseball gets set for regional play this weekend. All right. Thank y'all so much for watching. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy. And hook 'em.